I have felt for some time with American social media companies, we needed to put some guardrails in place. I think we need a kids online safety legislation that would say, you know, kids below a certain age maybe shouldn't have access to all of these sites. I think as well, we ought to have things like data portability and interoperability. So if you got tired of Facebook and you wanted to go on a new site, you know, you could easily transfer your data. There's some common sense rules of the road that we've not put in place even for the American social media platform. But I have no interest at all in banning or prohibiting their business. I think you know, there's a lot of good that comes out of social media. The difference with TikTok is that TikTok, which is owned by ByteDance is a Chinese company. Chinese law said as of 2017, any Chinese company, their first obligation has to be to the Chinese government, which means the Chinese Communist Party. Not to shareholders, not to you or your students at your high school that may be using TikTok. They have no obligation to you. So what we passed was not a ban of TikTok, to be clear. I think there's a lot of creativity. I think there's a lot of social influencers. It simply says TikTok ought to be sold to a non-Chinese company. It could be an American company. Doesn't even have to be an American company. It could be a Canadian company, a Brazilian company. And I'd point out, Will, you know, it's interesting. TikTok is not even allowed in China. They have a different version that's all about pro-studying. TikTok is already prohibited in India. Every major government has said if you use TikTok, you're potentially being spied upon, and they don't allow it for government use. I think we just ought to make sure that this creative platform has non-Chinese ownership, and you know, honestly, about 40% of the current ownership of TikTok are American investors. I hope they would do the right thing and help this transaction take place.